We begin tonight with a legendary figure getting a well-deserved recognition. Today, head coach Dawn Staley, she had her statue unveiled right there on Senate Street. Coach Dawn Staley's success moving beyond championships to a bronze statue standing on the ladder, cutting down the net. Let's get right on over to our News 19 reporter, Chris English, joining us live from the center of all the action. And Chris, I cannot wait to get down there to where you're standing and get myself a good selfie. I mean, so much excitement today. How are you feeling?
I tell you, we've had a lot of fun out here. It was a little warm this afternoon, but a lot of folks came out right here to downtown Columbia as they wanted to check out the statue. As a matter of fact, I'm going to let our chief photographer, Chris Brathwaite, get a nice tight picture of the statue for you, just so we can see some of those details. Now, Erica, as you mentioned, of course, the statue was modeled after a photograph of Coach Staley standing on that ladder, cutting down those championship nets after one of the big national championships. But I want to point out some of the details. You'll notice that, the artisans, were able to get her jacket, her hat. Some of the facial features are actually really, really well done for a statue. And then, of course, the necklace. You know, necklaces and jewelry and accessories are so important to Coach Staley. The artists were really able to capture that in this bronze statue. Now, I did want to mention that earlier today, Coach Staley, after the unveiling of the statue, had quite a few things to say, including what this statue means for those who are underrepresented.
So when the idea of a statue honoring me was introduced, I was against it. I didn't think it was necessary, but then Mayor Rickaman and Coach Tanner told me about the statues of equality and the unfortunate truth that only about 6%, Mayor, I think you said 5%, I think this statue might have added to that percentage, but only 6% of statues around the world recognize women.
And, of course, equality and representation so important to Coach Staley. And that's just one of the things that we took away from her speech this afternoon. Erica?
Born and raised in this community, this is monumental. It means so much to be in this community and see that statue when you're driving and walking around there. I am curious, since you've been out there all afternoon long, what stood out most to you? For me, it was the flowers that are going to be planted right behind you there. But in your opinion, what stood out most to you?
Well, Erica, I have to say again that just Coach Staley's humility, the story that she just related there about Mayor Rickaman having to encourage her, to urge her to accept the statue and to, accept that the city was going to do that for her and put the statue in her honor. You know, Coach Staley has said time and time again over the years, over the seasons, that it's not about her. It's about the team, it's about the fans, it's about the school, it's about the individual players. And I did want to point out something behind me. There were actually flags, feather flags, that were in the ground earlier. Crews have taken them out since, of course. But those flags said player, coach, leader, champion. And I think those four things embody Coach Staley, just as the statue does, but definitely her humility about the entire process. And just the fact that even during her speech that she made just before they unveiled the statue, she was talking about Angel Reese and some of the different players that have been through the program and how important those players were in her life and the impact that they made on her.
Chris, absolutely. Thank you so much. And to your point, Chris, she was pointing out that, hey, if you want to see greatness, then go see the statue for A'ja Wilson. She is right down the street from where you're standing. Chris, thank you so much for your perspective and giving us that live report. Let's talk about the